Podium at least for Repslonder.
He has to go forward on this first lap of the Grand Prix. Pecco Bagnaia needs 2 points, but he needs to get through the first lap unscathed. He's
on that Pramac Ducati as the riders then filter through the final corner to complete our final warm. This is it. This is the showdown, this is the shootout. Circuit for the title decider. It's lights out, full throttle, and we're underway. The biggest prize in racing up for grabs. Brilliant start by Jorge Martin. Look at Alex Friend of the factory Suzuki. Rins will lead into first corner. Quattararo's been swallowed up by Brad Binder, I think.
Quattararo, ever the opportunist as he has to be, forces his way through.
Bagnaia had to check up there as well, with Miller ran out to the marbles on the outside of turn number 8. Bagnaia had to lift. Something has detached from Pecco Bagnaia's Ducati and Fabio Quattararo. Oh, look at this. This is incredible action here in MotoGP. Physical contact between Bagnaia and Quattararo. This is Miller on the inside of Fabio Quattararo. That picked him up, and then coming through a narrow gap was Pecco Bagnaia. Well, that was rubbing for the title, wasn't it?
Binder on his case now.
Yeah, well, he was in miracle territory before this race.
Cancio, I think you could identify what came off Fabio Quattararo's Rins in the lead, and Fabio Quattararo currently running in 6th row. He needs to try and pull out a little bit of a gap over Pecco Bagnaia. Bagnaia will have a bit of a mental quandary here. Does he attack and get back past Quattararo on the main straight next time round? Aleix Espargaro's in the pits and Paul Espargaro in the gravel trap.
Yeah, that just compounds a miserable season, doesn't it, for Paul Espargaro. Darren Binder on his MotoGP Yamaha machine.
After just 4 laps, let's follow Fabio Quattararo over the line. He does his personal best lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:31, 4:10. He's closing it.
Miller on the inside of Marc Marquez on the brake. Espargaro.
Teammate Maverick Vinales.
MotoGP where it's so hard to make passes, hard to find clean moves around this Valencia circuit. Brad Binder sweeps in hot on the rear tyre. Pecco Bagnaia into turn 1. Somebody else was out wide as well, going through the first corner. It wasn't Juan Mir, because the stake though for Pecco Bagnaia.
So a technical problem on Aleix Espargaro as Aprilia, confirmed from Sam Craig from pit lane. They're still trying to...
Any closer than 2.5 seconds to Alex Rins. He did a 1:31.5. Lost his rear tyre in this Valencia Grand Prix. He will lead over the line in Suzuki's swan song here. It's been a merry last dance so far for the Hamamatsu factory. Rins leads it by 0.3 of a second, starting lap 9 of 27.
Go out on a high for Suzuki. Then we've got Miguel Oliveira's KTM, and then there might be a little bit of help for Pecco Bagnaia, because we have Marini, Bastianini and Zarco on a trio of Ducatis, 10th, 11th and 12th.
Yeah, Bagnaia will start sweating a little bit more if he can.
Marquez,
that's Marquez. Sorry, Lewis, that was Marc Marquez then. It is not going to be a podium ending to a very difficult season for the 8 times world champion. You can see how frustrated he was then. Marc Marquez down and out of the
4 seconds.
Fantastic job by this man. He said he was going to go down fighting, he was going to go down swinging, and that's exactly what he is doing right now. There is nobody on this 4-kilometre Valencia circuit quicker than this man now, who is...
Closes on the back of it.
Yeah, this will hurt Juan Mir as well. He'll be happy for Suzuki, but he won't want to see his teammate Alex Rins take the final glory. As it stands right now, the brilliance of Alex Rins means he's on course to win 2 of Suzuki's last.
Bagnaia reminds you, even if Quattararo wins the race, only needs to finish 14th or higher. So if he wants, he can just let Juan Mir go through and Miguel Oliveira. But
Aprilia team as they look to seal 3rd in the World Championship, because Aleix Espargaro out with mechanical problem very early on. Maverick Vinales, his teammate, way outside the points again. That could be 3 races in a row to end 2022 with no points for Vinales.
And take 3rd in the championship himself if he can overtake Rins and Martin up ahead of him.
Bagnaia still resisting this relentless pressure being exerted on him by 2020 world champion Juan Mir. What a class of rookies the class of 2019 was, because
for Brad Binder, a 1:31.192 last time around. That time he took 0.3 of a second off Fabio Quattararo. The gap between those two now down to 1.1 seconds.
So Oliveira, and he'll try and make the move as clean as he possibly can. He knows what's at stake for Pecco Bagnaia, but behind Oliveira are 3 Ducatis who just won't engage, will they, with Pecco Bagnaia? Surely not.
As we come across the line, ends complete.
Final podium of the season. A quick check on Juan Mir, having got through on Pecco Bagnaia on the previous lap, he was able to immediately drop his pace. Through on Bagnaia, just doesn't have that downforce and that grip and turning without that right-hand aero on that factory Ducati. Just having done his Juan Mir, he's not going to take any risk to try and hunt down the world champion crowned here 2 years ago in Valencia, back at the front, and Alex
fast charging Brad Binder, who will be desperate to avoid his first winless season since he won
GP world title. He's closing in quickly here on Jack Miller. Over the line, the gap was down to 0.7 of a second, but his main concern right now, though, is to work out how on earth he keeps the charging Brad Binder at bay. And here comes Binder into turn number 4. Yeah, but he knows he won't need reminded. He'll have to make it as clean as a bit wide. Binder's going to nick the inside line into turn number 2, and Brad Binder's stunning recovery, stunning charge continues in Valencia. Binder 4th.
Quartararo needs to just keep calm here. That's not the worst piece of news actually for Quartararo.
Through this tyre punishing turn number 13.
Well, Jack Miller needs to make quick work here of Jorge Martin if he wants to win this Grand Prix, because that gap is visibly opened up, hasn't it? Alex Rins is pulling away at the front of the Grand Prix. He wants that Hollywood finish for Suzuki. 9 laps remain behind Pecco Bagnaia, so he can then relax in that stage. So into turn 4, Marini making it cleanly up the inside, which is all that Ducati can ask for, really. That Marini makes the move on Bagnaia, but doesn't make life difficult for the Ducati. Bastianini, I'd imagine, will have seen that, and we're looking to do that. Will be, obviously, they'll be aware that's the position of Fabio Quartararo in this Grand Prix. So
this year in Le Mans, in Aragon, in Misano, in Sepang last time out. It's going to be one of the fascinating subplots in next year's World Championship, with Bastianini alongside Pecco Bagnaia in the factory Ducati garage. A lot of people like so far. He's been absolutely superb. An exhibition in leading a Grand Prix from the front and managing his tyres for these last 7 laps or so. He's 0.8 of a second clear of Martin. Well, I thought Binder was going to have a look up the inside of Miller there. Decision to withdraw from this MotoGP World Championship. Still people scratching their heads about how they've come to make that decision. That's reality, though. This is Suzuki's last dance. This is their last hurrah. And what a last hurrah it's been so far for Alex.
9th that Bastianini's taken from Bagnaia, because Joan Mir's not showing on our order on the left-hand side of your screens, but he is still there. He is still running in 6th position. He came over the last time around to do a 131.6, so we'll keep you up to date on that if it becomes relevant, if Bagnaia slips low enough down.
Podium, but he wants a first win of 2022, doesn't he? What a charge it's been from the Red Bull KTM man here. 4.5 laps to go in Valencia. Binder 3rd. It still rings at to 11. Well, it went in between sort of 10 and 11, didn't it, as he carried a bit of lead angle. So a Miller out of 4th. Way through quickly into 2nd place. It might be too late to hunt down Alex Rins at the front of this Grand Prix. There is Bagnaia. Look at Cheaty deleting his right leg. He's going to lose that gap.
Happens, it'll be a very, very popular race winner, and it looks as if it's going to come from this leading trio.
Well, they had a celebratory part.
9 through 13, so the door doesn't really open up for Binder into 14. Of course, he will be sensible. He won't do anything too silly behind Bagnaia, but if the Ducati nerves were bad already, the last thing they want is the second of the factory Yamahas up behind their World Championship leading contender.
They're just 8 kilometres away. The MotoGPs will be flying very, very shortly for the Bologna factory, because we are on the last lap, or our top 4 men are on the last lap. Rins, Binder, Martin and Quartararo. Brad Binder on that last lap took 0.2 of a second out of Alex.
Alex Rins' lead has shrunk on this lap. It's down to 0.5 second, but Brad Binder into the final sector of this Grand Prix. He's not close enough.
2009. Great scenes here between our new MotoGP World Champion Pecco Bagnaia and our outgoing